Hello guys, TavHD here and welcome back to another video, and today we'll be taking a look at what is in here. Now this is a MacBook Air which I bought off eBay for £38. As far as I'm aware, this is an original design early 2008 model and it had an expanded battery. But before we get into this, I will show you a clip I recorded of the eBay listing. Alright, this is the listing for the MacBook Air. Title here, MacBook Air A1237 Core 2 Duo for spares or repair condition for parts are not working. And as you can see, I got it for £37.99 plus £5 postage. Now, let's take a look at the pictures to see why this is so cheap. You can probably tell there's a little bit of a bulge on there where the battery is, and we'll come to that in a little moment. From the side you can also see it's kind of sticking up from the side, you can see that as well. From the bottom everything looks fine, it's still got all four of its feet, no real scratches on this unit at all really, so it looks like it has been looked after pretty well. I believe it is a 2008, so 12 years old, nearly 13. It does not look too bad cosmetically at all. So let's go down and see the description. We've got quite a nice description here. MacBook Air A1237 Core 2 Duo for spares or repair, no returns. This MacBook Air is in quite good cosmetic condition and screen looks to be in good shape. However, the battery has gone bad and this has resulted in the case bulging, as can be seen in the photos. That indeed can be seen in the photos. I don't know if the laptop or any of its components still work, as I don't have a charger to test it with. It has a UK keyboard and all the keys are present. The rubber feet are all present, the hard drive is still in the machine but is probably password protected and I don't know the password. Given the bulging condition of the battery, I wouldn't recommend plugging in a charger or trying to use the laptop until it's replaced. Selling for spares or repair and for scrap metal / parts value only, no returns. The low price reflects this. Please do not buy this item if you don't agree with these conditions. I do not have the original box or charger to include in the sale, only the laptop you can see in the picture. I'm perfectly fine with that. Now, the main reason I wanted to buy this is because if it's just the battery that's bulged and there's nothing else wrong and all the other parts work, if I take the battery out, I should be able to just boot it up without a battery, and I've got a MagSafe 1 charger which should work just fine with this. So hopefully, if all the components still work and haven't been damaged by the bulging, we should have a working first generation MacBook Air for not a lot of money. Now, I don't know if the case will ever go back to its normal state. I guess that's something we will have to investigate once this has arrived, because right now it is in shipping and I'm not sure when it will turn up, but I'm pretty excited to see what the extent of the damage is and if it's worth saving, or maybe if there's any parts that do work but the whole computer doesn't, we can part it out and maybe make a profit, or maybe I could buy a new housing if that's the only issue and get quite a nice little machine. Alright, so I'll be completely honest, I have already had the computer out of here because it arrived a few days ago and I didn't want to keep the dangerous battery in here to try and prevent it doing more damage inside, and also so it didn't blow up. So I have taken the battery out and here it is. Now, I haven't tried turning the machine on, I don't know if it works, but the battery is indeed out. I will show you how I got it out when we've had a look around the machine, and this is a very bad battery. Look, all that is where it's expanded. It clearly expanded quite a lot to push the keyboard all the way up, and it's got cracks on it as well. This needs to go. Okay, so now I've got that out of the way, let's take it out of the packaging and see exactly what we have got. So of course I've not been able to turn it on because I wanted to wait until this video, but I have seen it before. Here it is. I'm pretty sure this is a 2008 one. It is one of the first designs with the click button, and also the design where the ports are kind of underneath. The MagSafe is there, and on this side we get 3 ports under there. So let's just take a look around. So it actually appears to be in pretty good condition. There is some scratching on it, but nothing too bad for a machine of this age. Of course, as I said, not very many ports on this side. All we get is the MagSafe. On the front we have our IR receiver, as well as a little light which comes on, which you can't actually see right now. And then on this side we have our little flap with our ports. In here we've got a headphone jack, 1 USB, and also a video out, which I believe is mini DVI or something like that. I'll put that on screen, I don't actually know. The bottom is also in pretty good condition. There is some scratching on it, but nothing to write home about. And since I've taken the battery out, it has actually stopped bulging. It seems to have gone back to its normal state, which is excellent. So let's now open this up, and here it is. As you can see there, the keyboard is no longer sticking up. It might be just a little bit, but it shouldn't matter. It has pretty much gone back to how it should be, which is very nice indeed. So here's our display. This is a 13.3 inch glossy display. Oh, it now seems to be top heavy because I've taken the battery out. It will no longer sit without falling back. Now that is interesting. You've just got to angle the screen right and it will stay still. So we've got our webcam up there, which is nice to have. It says MacBook Air down here, and here is our keyboard. This is probably one of the nicest keyboards. I believe it's very similar to the one on my late 2009 white MacBook. This and the original MacBook Pro keyboards are probably my favourite, so this should be nice to type on if this machine works. Down here we have our trackpad. This is the first machine to use a larger trackpad. It's not one of the glass multi-touch ones. We still do have a button at the bottom, so this is a bit strange to get used to considering my MacBook Pro has a Force Touch glass one. So this will be interesting to use, of course, if we can get the computer to come on. And overall the condition inside is very nice as well. You wouldn't think that this was such an old machine by looking at the inside. Of course, this general design carried on until 2017 on the MacBook Air. It did get changed a little bit, but overall it kind of still looks the same. So this still looks like a pretty modern machine from a distance. Now I think that's pretty much everything we can look at here. So let's flip it over, open it up. I've already got all the screws out, and see if there has been any damage done on the inside from that expanded battery, because for all I know it expanded and maybe it snapped something. Maybe the keyboard doesn't work, the trackpad, who knows, because it was all pushed up. For a machine which is nearly 13 years old, or it might actually be 13 years old, this is not too dirty at all. There is some dirt in the fan and just some general dust, but nothing to really write home about. And straight away I can't see anything which looked broken, but of course it might wait until we turn it on to show any problems. I don't know. Our hard drive is up here. This is actually an iPod hard drive, which makes it difficult to put an SSD or something in here. You've got to have a little SATA drive, then get an adapter, because I believe this drive uses a ZIF connector. So maybe if this machine works, we can do a video in the future installing an SSD in here. I think that will be quite fun, but we will have to use an SATA to ZIF converter, which shouldn't be too hard to get my hands on, so that should be something we can do if this computer works. I think these are pretty slow drives, so it will be very sluggish with this if we can get it to boot up. There doesn't seem to be anything to really look at in here, and now I've taken the battery out, there is a lot of free room. So if this computer works without the battery, I might get a third-party one, so then I can use it not plugged into the wall, but that just depends on whether this works and if there are any faults or not. So everything seems to be fine in here, so I think I can just pop the back cover back on, then we can try turning it on. And this back cover was really bulging, and this seems to have gone back to normal as well which is pretty nice. I'll just pop this cover back on, connect a power cable, and let's see what happens. Alright, so I've now put the bottom case back on. I've not screwed it on because, of course, something may be wrong and we might have to take a look inside. And also, if I'm going to put an SSD in here in the not too distant future, there's no point screwing it back on if I'm going to take it apart again. So here is my MagSafe 1 charger. Now, this was for the MacBook Pros of the day, and because the MacBook Air's MagSafe charger port is on an angle underneath the machine, it will not fit properly. I don't have the redesigned one which was made for this, so I'm going to have to make this one do it fits, and it should work. It just means the computer will have to be a little bit wonky. I'll probably have to prop it up to stop it just falling out. In fact, I'll put it on my Griffin elevator stand. It's booting up by itself. I just plugged it in and it looks like something is happening. We've got a white display so far. This might be as far as it goes. I don't know. I don't know if this works before the battery expanded. It wasn't really clear, and I don't suppose there really was any way of knowing from the listing. So I guess, Apple logo. This might actually boot. Now, it'll probably take a long time considering this is a hard drive and also the type of hard drive it is, but we now have the spinny wheel thing. I think this might actually work. Alright, it's still loading. I'm being patient. It looks like it is doing something. Cursor. Oh wow, we've come to a login screen. Now, this is either Lion or Mountain Lion. I believe Mountain Lion is the latest this will run, and it seems to be working. I can move the cursor. Alright, I've just got a bit of a better angle. There's not really much I can do about the strobing which is happening on the screen. We will just have to deal with that. Can I change the brightness? Yes, I can. I think it'll be better if I have it about there for this video. So I'm going to have to blur out these names. Each one of these accounts has the same surname, so I assume this was used by a family. Let's see if there's a password. There is a password on the first account. There is a password hint. That's not really going to help me. Second account, password, and also a password hint. Let's just see if enter to log in. No, there does have to be a password. And the third account also has a password with a hint. That hint is the same as the first account. I don't know what that means. I'll try just typing the hint in, see if that is the password. Alright, let's see if the hint is the password. No, it is not. And that's just confirmed that this keyboard is actually working. So it looks like the battery expanding hasn't actually caused any problems. Maybe the Wi-Fi or something like that doesn't work, but I can't really test that right now. So there's nothing else I can actually do from here. Everything seems to be working, so what I'm going to try and do is boot into the Recovery Partition. Since this is running either Lion or Mountain Lion, it should have a Recovery Partition on it, so I'm going to try and boot into that. I'll turn it off and then try and do that. Okay, so on startup I'm going to press down the Alt or Option key, just hold that down, and we should get into the recovery mode if there is a recovery partition on this machine. I've got it held down, so let's just see what happens. So we've just got the white screen again like it did last time, and there we go. We've got into the boot menu, it looks like. Let's see if it can find a Wi-Fi network. It can, so it looks like the wireless portion of this still works. Let's try and go into the Recovery HD. I don't know what this is going to do, but it's worth a go. I can hear the hard drive working away for this, so it could probably do with being replaced, if not only for the speed but also reliability. This is probably a 13-year-old drive, so it's probably not going to last too much longer. It looks like we're getting something coming up now. It's doing that grey textured thing that they did for a while as the background. Let's just see if anything loads. The recovery menu should come up if this is all working correctly. And look at that, the Mac OS X utilities. So we can restore from a Time Machine backup, reinstall. It looks like this is Lion on here. We can get help online or go to Disk Utility. So it looks like from here we can't go into About This Mac or anything like that, so we won't be able to know the full details of this machine quite yet. But let's just have a bit of a click around. I'm going to go into the terminal and see if I can somehow bypass the passwords that are on these user accounts. There is an article online which talks about that. Whether it works or not, I don't know, but it is worth a go. Okay, so I've just typed in reset password, and now we can select the volume containing the user account, and we can select an account here which we want to change the password of. I'm not sure which one I want to use. I think I will just do the top one for now. If I need to change the others, I can do. The password for this I'm going to just set as a quick PIN number. I'll do it again there, and then password hint. You know what it is. And I do indeed know what that is. So let's now save that. Okay, it has now been reset. Let's actually do that for all of them as well. Just have the same password for them all now. Save. And that should now do. I've never actually used this terminal command before. I don't know if it will actually work. So what I'm now going to do is restart the machine, let it boot up into the normal partition on the drive, and let's see if we can get into these accounts. One thing I'm going to say while this is booting up is that trackpad feels rather sticky. It does kind of feel like the one on my aluminium PowerBook, so I don't know if that's just the way these older ones are. I don't think this is a glass one, but it does feel a little bit weird, but that's probably just the way it is. If I don't like it, I will just use a mouse. But Apple logo here, hopefully we can log into these accounts with my new password, and then all I'm going to do is then create a new account, and then that's what I can use to have a look around this machine. Okay, it's now coming up. There we go. Here are the user accounts. Let's see if my new password works. And yes, it does. Yes, indeed, that password does indeed work. Now, the clock is set to the wrong date. That's not a problem, doesn't bother me. And here we go. We are now on the desktop. Now, this looks like a pretty fresh install. I don't know why that is. Maybe this person just didn't do much on it, or maybe because I have reset the password, some of the things have gone. Looks like we've got a OS X startup assistant here. To continue, scroll. Oh, alright. I'm not sure what this is about. It wants to teach me how to scroll. I know how to scroll, thank you. And there doesn't seem to be anything on here. I don't know if this is a fresh install, or, as I said, because I reset the passwords, it's reset the account. I don't know, but this looks very fresh. So before we go to About This Mac, what I'm going to do is go into System Preferences. I'm going to go to the Universal Access settings. I'm going to turn on zooming. Okay, so now zooming is on. I should be able to, I can zoom in as much as I want. Let's now go into About This Mac and take a look. So macOS 10.7.5, I'm not sure if that's the most up-to-date version. 1.6 GHz Intel Core 2 Duo, 2 GB of 667 MHz DDR2 SD RAM. Let's have a check in more info here. There it is. That's just saying the same things again. Also the graphics, Intel GMA X3100 with 144 megabytes of video RAM. Serial number is there as well. Look at the display. This is a 1280 by 800 13.3 inch display. Storage there, Macintosh HD. It is an 80 gigabyte drive, and it looks like 68 gigabytes is free out of the 80. Memory over there, we've got 212 gigabytes. Now, you cannot change this as the end user, it's just stuck as it is, so there is no upgrade path in terms of the memory. We can upgrade the drive if we really wanted to. I think that is something we will do in another video. Let's go into the system report. Yep, so MacBook Air 1,1. I'm not really sure what I'm looking for in here. Everything seems to be just fine. It looks like this machine was Patrick's MacBook Air, even though none of the user accounts were called Patrick. That is quite interesting. Let's now shut out of all that. I'm going to go into the other account, see if there is anything in there, or maybe they are all just going to be fresh like this. Who knows? Let's try the second one here. Use my new password. The system was unable to unlock your login keychain. Now that's interesting. It looks like keychain was enabled. Let's just continue login. I don't know if we'll be able to access anything on here. Yet again, this seems to be just a rather fresh install. Nothing exciting going on here. Yeah, it looks like nothing has been installed apart from coconut battery. So I guess they were having some battery problems with this machine, and that's quite evident seeing the state of the battery. So yeah, it looks like they were having some problems and were monitoring it with coconut. That is quite interesting, but there doesn't seem to be anything on this account. Let's go into the third one and take a look in there. Okay, logging into the final account that is on here. This has also got keychain. I think they must have been logged in with their Apple ID. And yeah, this looks pretty fresh too. Let's just take a look. Yeah, nothing really on here. That is okay. I'm not too concerned about that. So what I'm going to do, yep, password, no, don't have that. Let's now go and create myself a new account and maybe delete these other ones because I don't really need them on here. Of course, that will have to be blurred out. Type the administrator's name and password to allow this. The administrator, I can tell, is one of the other accounts, so I will put that in. So maybe this was a family computer and maybe the father was the admin for the children or something like that. Let's see if my password will work. Yep, I've now unlocked that, and I can actually see this guy's Apple ID email address, which is quite interesting. It does make me wonder why people don't delete their accounts and things off here. It is quite weird. I'm going to make myself a admin account. Full name, let's just call this MacBook Air for now, and that can be just like that as well. I'll add my same password onto this one, and here it is. Let's see if we can change that picture. This will be a test of the webcam, if this will work. Will it let me choose that? No, it won't. Let's just choose a picture. Okay, let's now lock that down, and let's go into photo booth and see if that front camera is working. There we go, it has now come on, so it looks like our webcam is working. Okay, so it's now been about an hour since that last clip was filmed, and I've just been messing around for a little bit on this thing, and I think I'm ready to connect it to the internet just to see how well it copes, and also then we can test out the speakers by playing some music. So this will be a good test to see if the Wi-Fi does actually work. Let's see if it will log in. Apparently now it is connected to my Wi-Fi network, so we're going to have to use Safari. This is a fresh account, so no other web browsers on here at the moment. So let's just try going onto YouTube. Let's see if this will work. I don't expect it to be particularly quick, considering how old this computer is and the fact that it is running Lion. There is YouTube. Let's click on that. Oh, I can't identify the website YouTube. That's no problem. Please just let me go to it. Okay, here is YouTube. Please update your browser. I'm not going to do that right now. Ah, well, it didn't like that. It shut out of it. Let's go into software updates, see if that works, and if we have any updates available, we might as well do that. I've just been thinking this computer can run Mountain Lion, so maybe we can install that in another video. I don't particularly want to do that today, so that can be a video in the future. So let's see if it will find any new software. And those updates are now done, and the fan is still ramped up. It's good because I now know that the fan works, but it's also not good because it's annoying. Let's try one more time to go onto YouTube, but I don't have much faith that this will work. It seems to load just fine and then it goes. Okay, I couldn't get iTunes to work. I think that's more an internet problem, but that does not matter because this computer works. This MacBook Air, which cost me £38, actually works, and by taking the battery out, the casing has gone back to normal. It's no longer bulging and everything seems to be working just fine. So for £38 we've got a fully working first generation MacBook Air. I've had a quick look on eBay to see how much these things go for, and I could probably double if not triple my money if I was to sell this today, and that value would also go up if I installed an SSD and put a new battery in. So in future videos we will be installing an SSD and we will put in a new battery. We may also upgrade to Mountain Lion, and maybe in the future we will also test out some unsupported operating systems using patches. So if that's the sort of thing you would like to see, please do subscribe. But I think that that is pretty much it for this video. I've managed to make this computer work absolutely fine. The only problem is it's got to stay plugged into power, but when I get a battery for this, that will not be a problem. So thank you for watching this video. Hopefully this was interesting in some way, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.